Welcome to Superb Vision, where we talk about how we see L&D. Traditionally, when an organisation wanted to get their content online, they would implement a learning management system, or an LMS. But technology is changing, things have advanced, and we now have other opportunities to deliver and provide learning experience content to people through other means, including through a learning experience platform, or LXP. But let's take a step back and let's talk about what are the two. So the learning management system, the LMS, is exactly as the name says, a system for managing learning. We load content into the LMS, and through that we can track the completion of that learning content. On the other hand, the learning experience platform is a platform that's focused on the learning experience. It's much more focused on the learner and personalising their learning journey. So how are the two different? One of the key features between the two is the data and how that data is captured. So the learning management system uses SCORM. And SCORM is a data source that will track completion of a course or a quiz and return the percentage that was completed on that quiz. Now, SCORM is not broken. SCORM still works. SCORM still operates as it is intended. But if we look, okay, SCORM 1.2, which became the popular system, is 18 years old. So we're playing with an old data source, and it is limited. Okay? As I said, we can track limited events that are happening inside the system. We can track the completion of the learning. Whereas the LXP is using much more newer data source. So it's using XAPI or Experience API as the data source to capture the learning events. It allows us to measure learning anywhere. So the LMS, we'll capture learning that happens inside the LMS, whereas the LXP allows us to capture learning inside the LXP, inside the learning experience platform, but we can also track learning that is happening outside of that. I suppose an analogy between, SCORM and XAPI, or the LMS and the LXP, is probably to compare phones. So if someone said to you, hey, do you want a Nokia flip phone, or do you want the latest Samsung, Galaxy or iPhone? You'd probably go with the newer phone, the Samsung or iPhone. Okay? Now, the Nokia probably still will make calls if you can hook it up to the 4G network. But that's it. That's all that it does. Whereas your newer smartphone gives you a lot more ability and a lot more functions that you can do. Just like SCORM. SCORM will still track that learning event has happened. Whereas XAPI gives you a lot more options to track the learning journey, to see what is happening, to see the choices that people are making as they go through a course, as they go through a learning experience. We can track what they're doing, the choices they're making. Also through XAPI, it then gives us the power to personalise that learning journey based on the choices that people are making, based on the events that are happening, based on what they're doing. We can personalise things, we can automate things. And it gives us so much more power in what we can do with that learning experience platform. The personalisation of the learning journey becomes so much easier. The data analytics and the measuring of what is actually happening, the choices that people are making, gives us so much more power in seeing what learning is happening and what decisions we need to make to adjust our learning. And then if you think about the rise of talk around the 70-20-10 model, okay? So if we look at the learning management system, that's where the 10 is happening. Okay, so the 10% of the learning is formal learning happening inside a classroom, or if it's online, happening inside the learning management system. Okay? But that's it. That's all that we're tracking. We're not tracking the 70. We're not tracking the 20. Okay? Whereas with the learning experience platform, potentially we can hook up the XAPI data and we can capture a lot more of that learning. We can start to capture the 20. We can start capturing the 70. So there's a lot more robust information that we can gather around the learning experiences and the choices that our learners are making. So I suppose goes back to the question, LMS or LXP? The first question you probably need to ask is, what do I want to achieve? What are my objectives? Now, if your objective is to have a platform where you load up content and all that you want is to be able to track that they are completing that content, then an LMS is an easy option for you. But if what you want to do is actually have a much richer learning experience, to be able to personalise the learning journey for your learners, to gather a lot more data around what learning is happening, what choices they're making, how they're responding to situations, then a learning experience platform is something that you should consider. So here in Australia, Superb Learning, we are partners with HD2, who are the pioneers in workplace digital learning. And through that partnership, we have access to the award-winning and innovative Curator LXP learning experience platform. A wonderful platform that allows us to do exactly what we've talked about, to provide personalised learning, to provide content in a number of different ways, to curate content, to provide a gamified learning experience. So if you're interested in a learning experience platform, then give us a call. Contact us at Superb Learning. So that's this week's Supervision. We look forward to next time. Thanks.